Let's do it like that.
The problem, that's the previous one.
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't stop it. Can we stop this one? That will probably trigger the stop on YouTube.
Yeah. No, I have Johan online too. So. Yeah, but he's checking.
Okay. Just streaming here. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So, finally, it seems like yeah, everything is working. Maybe this was a message that we shouldn't start 1 o'clock. We should start 1/4 past. I don't know. So, welcome to this September meeting. Give you some information, and then you guys should do a little work on your own. We start with the information. Next month, starting October 7th, and for 2 weeks, they will conduct a employee or work environment survey. They decided to, they've done it 3 times, I think, since 2010. The most recent one was 3 years ago or so. And now they decided to do it every year. And the condition for that was that they would cut down on the number of questions. Somehow that was forgotten in the process, I think. But you guys, you will get more information. You can read it on the staff web. So it's actually there in both Swedish and English, which is a great achievement. What will happen is that in these 2 weeks, in this window, you will be asked many times if you don't respond to respond to this survey, and then there will be some processing, and then the presentation of this material will be. Well, I think we will get it sometimes beginning of November. And that will be together with a union representative and people from HR and people from the faculty. But they do it on an individual level. The only criteria that we have to meet is that more than 8 people respond. Otherwise, you will be elevated to the faculty level. But I guess that in in a department with 65 or more people, it shouldn't be a problem. There is another condition. If you don't get an invite, it could be that your employment is not terminated. I need to formulate this in a if you have been employed for less than 3 months, you are not eligible to take this. You don't qualify because they don't think that you have, that's my interpretation, enough experience. If you have been employed and don't get it, maybe you no. So that will happen, and as always, you're encouraged to respond to this. It's important information, and it's also it connects very well to some of the other things that we will talk about today. We have a couple of positions open. I mentioned that last time, a month ago. What happened since then is that we have started to appoint the external reviewers. It will take some time to find people who are willing to do this during this semester. It's very difficult to find qualified people for all, but we're doing the best we can. We also decided to open another position that has passed the board Wednesday, I think, and will now be, it's just a decision and signature from the dean, and that will happen on Monday, and after that we will open a new position in media technology. Then we have the treklöver-utvärdering. I didn't dare to translate that, but it's an evaluation of the different subjects in the university, and it's conducted together with 2 partner universities. And next semester, it's our time to take part in this. And I learned today that we are the lucky ones, because now they have slimmed down the self-evaluation, self-assessment document you have to fill out. And compared to the first time, this is a considerable improvement, or I should say reduction in number of pages. So today, Anders Gerestam accepted to be our representative in the management group for this. I think your new title, don't order new business cards, will be Deputy Process Manager. But that's also something where all 3 partners contribute for each subject area, and then this group is responsible for the coordination. So this will most likely, there will be mostly Anders who has to take part in some meetings, because the evaluation will take place next semester. But this involves actually the whole department. So it's not media technology or computer science or computer engineering, it's the whole department. So it's all subjects. So no one will be able to escape from this one. There's also some change in the central administration. The former manager of external relationships, external relation department, Richard Buch, has stepped down, and currently they are reorganizing themselves. So Katarina Ek, together with, it's actually, it should be a comma here. It's Katarina Ek and Lars Behrens are currently acting managers and responsible for the reorganization. Katarina, who I mentioned last time that she was one of the new employees at the department, is still working with us. So nothing has changed there, which is great news to us, because hopefully we can have a direct connection to ER in not just questions regarding commission education and continuous learning, but also in other matters, which is great. Then Diana told me to ask you guys to start do some planning on your own. We will apparently go to the East Coast to, well, in the area of Västervik for the Christmas offsite. There will be some of you who will have to share rooms because it's not that easy to find. If we don't want to go to Kosta every year, it's difficult to find. The selection is not great, but so some of you should, well, start thinking about, well, with whom would I like to share a room. That will be great if you guys could do that. In 2 weeks or so, Diana will send out the invite and also the form where you will have to provide some information and sign up. I gave you the dates last time. Do you remember? 18th and 19th. So that's good. Of December. Okay. So that was the information from me. Someone else who has something? Okay. Then we can move on. During spring, the university initiated work on a new vision for 2030. And sometime in May, we had an opportunity for a workshop for input to this process. It was on rather short notice, but still, according to Diana, no one came. So we were, I think, one of the 2 departments at the university that didn't contribute to the input here. But as you will see, it's, in my opinion, not a... I think that we would have ended up with something similar, or we don't differ too much from the statements in the next couple of slides. But right now we're the group that works with the vision is writing up the document, working on different formulations. The intention is to have a new strategy that the university board will well, for the university board on their December meeting, and I think that timeline will not change. So, just to down at the bottom here, you have the vision for 2020. How many of you is aware of this vision? How many of you have seen the vision? I should do this too. So less than 10 people. Okay. So what is a vision then, and why is it that so few of you are aware of this? Well, now we're moving from this vision down here to and I have this is the only official I have so far. This is my Google's interpretation or translation of this Swedish vision. So innovative academic knowledge formation for sustainable societal development. Okay, that's fine. Anyone against? And this is the problem with the vision at this level. Yeah, Morgan?
So I might, maybe I should wait, but I can give the view from the faculty board on this, which was not very kind. So I think it might be...
Yeah, come up here. You can come up here. So
I don't know if I want to come up, but...
yeah, but then you can share both the... I have a friend in crime, and you can also get the microphone here.
So what
But
our
don't walk
opinion...
away, because then I have to follow you. In it.
No, so what the opinion of the faculty board was that this was not very ambitious. This was basically like, come on. Is at least my interpretation. It says they don't find it challenging enough. And I think that I agree. Because I mean, what does it mean? If you look at this one, you have lots of things like creativity, companionship, utility. I don't know what those mean either, but at least there are like 4 or 5 things, and here's one, which is sustainable societal development. And in general, I think the faculty board was quite critical to the vision. So I have the answer, and Jesper is reading it here. But they're basically saying that it needs a lot of work because it's not challenging, it's not like properly developed. So it's not finished, basically.
Okay. Okay, I still think there will be a decision in December. This is the problem with the vision for and I think that it's actually the interpretation of this which is a little bit more interesting. And what they have done here is that they have identified 4 focus areas that has to be should be addressed as part of the work to drive towards this vision. And I think this makes it a little bit more specific. However, at least in some aspects. So the first one, nyskapande akademisk kunskapsbildning, that is also a okay. Yeah, we're gonna have academic knowledge development, which should be, well, creative at the best, and sustainable excellence. I don't think that those 2 are too challenging either. However, these 2 at the bottom here is a little bit more interesting, especially if you look at the Therese Iveby Gardell. Do you know who she is? Who is he? She's the new Universitetsdirektör. Yeah. You didn't. So she's, well, given the, discussions the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years about the central administration, and also more recently in the newspapers in Kalmar and Växjö, at least, about the efficiency of the university. You can say a lot about that, but still it's a very good indication that we can improve. And what you see here is, I would say, a change in direction. And I think that after listening to Therese, that, well, it will change. So what we can see here is that the central administration is really put at the center of this, and that's, well, if we want to become an organization that actually put quality in focus, well, we need the support from the central administration. Lars Behrens is responsible for profile, identity, and attractiveness. And you probably don't know this, but Lars is one of the advocates of Times Higher Education ranking. We should have a goal like we should be among the top 1,000, top 500.
We are 1,129.
Yeah, yeah. So very, very specific goals. How many do we share that position with?
No, it was top 3,000.
Okay, top 3,000. Mm. So I think that these two can actually make a difference compared to, because the other vision was, well, maybe it was better as a vision, however, the focus areas were not as specific. Creativity, utility, etc. So the new vision is a continuation of this continuous improvement work that is executed at various levels at the university. There is, at the university faculty level, a year cycle with planning documents, budget discussions, follow-up discussions, etc. There's also between, on the faculty level, between the departments and the faculty. And part of this is to develop an operational strategy for every year. And this should, of course, be aligned with the vision, and it should be aligned with the objectives for the focus area and so on. And the faculty is now in the process of developing the plan for 2020. And this is very general things, like we will start the Masters of Engineering education, things like that. But they also ask the departments to provide information about what we want to do. So on department level, well, we have a couple of sometimes really fuzzy processes that we use in everything. Everything from first cycle education to research funding to individual study plans for PhD students. There are a lot of processes. Most of them are tacit knowledge. However, there are some processes. And what we can do, and I think that this can actually identify areas where we can improve with sometimes little effort and achieve considerable results. We can establish some kind of continuous improvement of how we do things on the department level. And I just put some focus areas up here. We have first and second cycle education. One of the interesting findings from studying the admission numbers at the department is that we have approximately 7.5% students of the total student count on the second cycle. 7.5%, is that good? Is that bad? What is your opinion? Moge? It's bad. On the faculty level, it's more than 10. So something like 12. University level, even higher. One of the focus areas at university level was to have this excellence, sustainable excellence. And one of the areas underneath, well, below that level, is second cycle education. They actually measure excellence by the number of students on that level. We have a question in the room.
Number of students or throughput?
Number of students, and well, we'll come back to that. But there are a lot of things. So there are many things that we can measure, but I just give you one number that we can use for comparisons here. We can look at throughput too, and we see that our throughput on advanced level is not great either. So that's another problem. And this is exactly what I'm looking for here. Can we do something about this? Objectives. Can we increase the number of students that apply for and that we admit on second cycle courses and programs? What are the key results and what activities could contribute to this? If we do this a little bit more systematically, we can actually make improvements in a rather, in a not too far distant future. And this is true for most focus areas at the department. So, and now we come to the little exercise here. In order to identify things that could be done, I know that you guys, you are working with the friction that our system creates every day. So hopefully you guys can come up with problems, identify objectives, key results, and activities. It doesn't have to be complete information, but at least a problem and maybe an objective, so that we get some information to work with here. Because the idea here is to use this input, process it, and most likely organize it, collapse, move, things like that, prioritize, and then come back to you guys so that we can agree on some objectives for 2020, some key results that we can measure, and also some activities that we can plan. We're going to use a tool, and now I'm getting a little bit, shaky in my legs here, because I hope this will work. It's always like that. But it's, so you will be able to create these notes here, and you type in the information. As you go through what other people are posting, they will pop up on the screen, and hopefully at the end of the day, we will have an abundance of these notes here. If you find someone that you really like, you do a thumbs up, one that you dislike, or if you just want to add a comment because, hey, I really like this problem is, but I suggest this activity. So you can add things to it here. And Ola has been my lab rat for this, and it worked for him. And according to the website, they say that there is an indefinite number of parallel postings. So if you use the URL at the top here, and now we can all keep our fingers crossed that not too many students are listening to this.
Should we register or not?
You don't have to register. If you register, I can see who you are. If you don't register, I can't. But do what you want. And now we're gonna see if this we can do it like if you,
What's the link? Putting the link again.
come on.
Write the suffix on the right one.
21x TW 4 set capital.
Something wrong here.
Is it two? It could be 2L then. Does it work? Okay, Andreas. There's something behind the wheel.
Does it work for Safari?
Yes.
One question. Today, by default term 19, what are the figures for the full-time equivalent?
Okay.
And what is the plan for next year? So we have the very.
Okay. So you can start talking to each other. You can start adding, and you will see. It seems like things are popping up here. So, do we have another? If someone have another color, or I can. So, our budget for faculty-funded education is 600 today. 600 for 2019.
And for next year, will be the same or with some increase?
It will increase. So, but the increase is because we will start the new engineering program. So they have given us a room where we can expand within, so to speak. Mogge, du brukar ju ha 1000 sådana här grejer.
Ja, absolut. Det var roligt att se. Det satt en extra flammar.
Ja.
Det är lite lagg här när jag ser. Jag hör det. Nu skriver inte du.
And if you want to add a column, you can do that too. Maybe you find something. Oh. Flytta inte omkring dem nu, Ola, om det inte är...
Gärna text då.
PhD students, everything is, or is it like just the problem is the education or any? Borde vi kunna scrolla ner här, va? So, if you have like, well, this or that, if you can add a comment also, it would be great. So if you add a thumbs up or disagree, if you disagree, it would be nice to, so that we can, otherwise it will be like student evaluations, you know. The assignments were too hard or the assignments were too easy. So if you disagree, same over here. Someone says that this is not a problem. So on. So the more information we get, the more the easier it will be to interpret, and the better the. I don't know why I can't scroll down here. Okay. So let's continue with this for another 5 minutes, and then this way we keep it open for, let's say, next week, and so that you can come back and add things as you can sit and talk about it over coffee and make additions here. And if you have something that you think is not working super smooth with faculty or above, like this one here, the ISP, it's also useful information, because then we can feed that up to that level. Can also be that some of these are touching both or more than 2 levels. Det är du som håller på att leka med färg, Ola. Va? Okay, so continue to fill out this. Don't forget work environment. It could be. It's also things we can do with sustainability, etc. Because these are 4 appendices to the activity plan. We also are asked to provide these plans 2 times a year. So would be great if you could find things here as well. Okay, so it's 2 o'clock now, and I didn't plan to keep you here any longer. But as I said, this will be open, available. So please go in, look through them. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments. Use that. See if you can, instead of writing something almost the same or something very similar, just add a comment. Would be great to, because then we can go through these and then we can come back to you guys a month from now, and we can have a list of possible objectives for the various areas, and also prioritize together and decide. Okay, so if there are no more questions or comments or so, have a nice weekend and see you guys back on Monday. Okay?